gonna do something I've never done before. I've had this garden now. I started doing it in 2020. Started planting fruit trees. It's now 2025. Some of the fruit trees are 5 years old now. Some are 1 year old. I'm forgetting what I planted. And I got it written down in my garden journal, but I'm not updating it like I should. So I want to do this real quick. I'm going to show everything I'm growing here. Now, I don't have to get up for a lot of it. Here's my driveway. I come up and here's a little patch on this, but I've got a peach tree that I got from some Facebook marketplace group, and right next to it behind the little stroller is a seedling, a little peach seedling from that peach tree. And that peach tree is probably 3 years old, been in the ground for about 3 years now. It produced a lot of peaches last year, but they all had bugs in them. All right, it got strawberries interplanted all throughout. I just put these strawberries in here, so I don't expect much. Here is a persimmon tree, Fuyu persimmon, and it actually produced like 7 Fuyu persimmons last year that were this big around. Also have a fig tree that I just put in with strawberries underneath it. You can't see it, but we have a little sage here, more strawberry interplanted. Another sage here that I split up. Another peach tree here that's not going to stay, and a little pawpaw sprig right here. So I'm going to walk down to my front yard. It's a very small yard. It's just a 1/4 acre in a subdivision. And we're going to start off down here at the bottom. So we have a pawpaw tree right here. I don't know what variety of pawpaw it is. No idea. And it doesn't have any fruit buds on it. But we have our big pawpaw tree right here, which does. So right in the front yard, we've got we've got like 5 pawpaws in the front. So if we keep coming up this way, we have a little tiny fig I planted. It's not gonna do anything. Yeah, nothing. We've got one of the loquat trees here, and you know, we've gotten down to 15 degrees many times, I think 12 degrees. It decimated every fruit on the tree. This tree right here, I did not protect. I did nothing to. It's only about 5 feet tall. It's pretty wide. I did nothing to it, no protection, and it lost all its fruit. Now the one right here on the right side, I put washcloths over the fruit, and as you can tell, a lot of it did okay. So these are loquats in zone 7. This one I did not protect, the leaves did, so we still have loquats forming in zone 7. However, we're getting to 15 to 18 degrees on Wednesday night. Tons of clusters of them. So covering it with a little washcloth, it worked. It kept a lot of them alive. Look in here, more loquats. Zone 7. A couple years ago we got down to 6 degrees. Last winter was warm, so I would have kept all these loquats last winter. But this winter is the coldest winter I've had since I've been here, except for that one where I got to 6. So I'm gonna keep these loquats. I think I might be getting loquats. All right, keep going back. We have another fig, Violetto di Bordeaux. Violetta something, I don't know. It came from Tractor Supply. Right to the right of it, we have another seedling peach. I throw my peach bits out. They just catch. Here's a Brandywine raspberry. Brandywine raspberry actually didn't taste it. I didn't like it the first year. The second year, it tasted much better. This will be the 3rd year. Here, it's called a luscious pear. Let's see. Yep. Luscious pear. And I don't remember where I got this one from. And I don't expect much out of this. It had 1 pear last year. And let's see. Pineapple guava. This pineapple guava, I'm gonna try to zoom out. Let's see if I can zoom out. There we go, it makes things much easier. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay, pineapple guava. That one did not produce last year. That one produced a ton. Okay, here's another fig tree. I don't know if this is the Chicago Hardy. I don't know, but still, it produces a ton. They're not that great, but it produces a ton of figs. I'm not going to mention the blueberries because I threw so many blueberry plants out here. I never got the name of them. I didn't care. I just scattered them. Here's another fig tree in the front yard. This one produces amazing big fat figs. And I'm not going to prune it until, I don't know, April, right before it blooms out. And then I'm going to stick the sticks all in the ground everywhere. So, oh, tons of blackberry canes everywhere. Here we have an American cranberry. I don't know why I put it in. The cranberries taste awful. I don't think I'm going to ever process because I don't want to put that much sugar. And it doesn't do terrific here, but it survives. I guess it's okay. I'll keep it. Here's a rosemary. This thing stood by in 6 degrees. I'm starting to clone it now. I'm just now learning about cloning, but I love this rosemary. I do a lot of, I put it in a lot of my tea now. Right here we have a cherry tree. I don't know if that's and that's a huge pine tree in my front yard. I'm happy I have that pine tree. And now here's a cherry tree. I don't know if it's the Royal Rainier or the Bing. I think that's the Bing cherry. Right next to it, we have pawpaw. Look at this. Fruit bud after fruit bud. Look at all them fruit buds. This thing right now is, I don't know, 9 feet tall, loaded down with buds. But nothing's gonna happen this year because it's my only pawpaw with buds, minus this one right here. This one was given to me. It was donated by a lovely lady, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fruit buds on it. And that tells me it might produce more fruit buds, you know, when they start putting on new growth, which is great. And not for this tree, but for that tree. So if we can get some type of cross-pollination, I got one pawpaw from that tree the size of my thumbnail with 1 seed. And I took that seed out and put it in the ground. Okay, can't see it. Olive tree. Here's another cherry tree. It's pretty high. It's higher than the pawpaw. Probably going close to 15 feet. No, maybe not 10 feet, 11 feet. I don't know how to prune cherries yet. Here is a apple seed. Came up by itself. I thought it was a crab apple, but I looked in my notes and found out the crab apple never survived. So this is some type of apple from seed. Here is the trunk of my moringa tree, annual tree. However, when I pulled my last one out, the root still looked alive. So we're gonna get this a try. You know, we're getting down to 15 degrees in 2 nights. So nowhere close to waking up, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Oh, another pawpaw in the front yard. Can't see it, so small, but anyway, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 pawpaws. Oh, so some of these plants are so small. I had to get this one because of those James Prigioni videos. That's my Nikita's gift persimmon. It's kind of funny, huh? Kind of little. Oh man, I didn't even talk about these. This is some kind of apple. It produces great apples last year. Yarrow, blueberry. Here's the pawpaw that had the buds. And here's my Honeycrisp apple. I don't know much about apple trees, but I don't know. I think they might fruit on spurs. If that's the case, I've got a ton of spurs, so I might get some Honeycrisp apples. For my apple trees, I have 1 here, 1 here, and I have about 4 apple trees in the backyard. Here's that cherry tree. Again, we talked about it's just a typical 3-bedroom house in a subdivision, older subdivision. We've got phenomenal lavender, 2 plants. They give me enough lavender for the year. Here's another one I just put in. Another fuyu. Now that winter were over 6 degrees, it killed all my new fuyus. Here's the pineapple guava that did fruit. Here's an unknown Asian pear variety. It's never fruited, but if it fruits on spurs, this will be the first year, as well as a second Asian pear variety that I know nothing about the cultivar. We'll find out soon enough. We have sage here and little, I don't need to go through all that stuff. These are supposed to be walking stick kales that are supposed to get pretty tall. And the banana patch. I got banana flowers last year, but no bananas. So there's no reason to keep this. It's unrealistic to get bananas in my climate, edible bananas. While it's beautiful, this is prime real estate because I had a cherry tree that I had planted and the trunk is in here somewhere buried, but it was too close to the house. So I pulled it out and I could have put it I could put something else right here instead. All right. I'm pretty sure that I'm forgetting some stuff. We just got strawberries and are planted. These were the trunks of the, what is that? The Jamaican sorrel, Roselle hibiscus. Roselle, I'm sorry, not Roselle hibiscus, Roselle. But when I went to go pull these out of the ground to replace them, the roots were still alive. So who knows? We may get something. And now it changes in the front. I got rid of the Carolina Jessamine. It's gone. And it was just replaced with a Triumph Muscadine from a local nursery. So we put the Muscadine in. And it's now a Triumph Muscadine. But for several reasons, I had to get rid of the Carolina Jasmine for the trellis. Here we have an Ayers pear. It's got some spurs on it, so I'm hoping I get some pears. Yeah, I'm hoping I do. We'll see. Down here, oh yeah, I did forget something. I love tea, but apparently I'm not a tea person. I have to do Camellia sinensis to actually drink tea. So I've had this Camellia sinensis plant for 3 years, but I had it in the wrong spot. So now it was in complete shade. So now I've moved it to the full sun. And yeah, unfortunately it's been so many years and it's still just a little guy and it's looking roughed after transplant, but maybe 3-4 years it'll be worth it. And I'll be able to make my green tea, black tea once I start planting it, because I've put the seeds everywhere. So I should be getting a bunch of sprouts soon. Let's see. Now we're going into the backyard where the magic happens. Another fig tree. Don't know what fig tree it is. And they're planted with strawberries. We have another grapevine here, which I didn't even mention. Man, I knew I forgot something. So this is some kind of grapevine. I think it's a Catawba that I branched off from my last one. So that's one grapevine. Here's another grapevine. So that's 2 grapevines. Here's another grapevine. And I'm not going to walk down there, but I've got a muscadine popping up, going that way. All right, finally making it to the backyard. Slitza, black currant. I'm probably going to get some currants. I think I had a couple and didn't really care for them. Oh man, my yard is a mess right now. So some changes have happened back here. So here's a contender peach. I decided I wasn't going to keep it. So I put the replacement pear tree down here to take its spot. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to keep peaches or not. Depends on how it does with the spray. Or without spraying, I'm sorry. So contender peach, some pear, blueberry. Here we have the spring satin pluot. It's loaded. About to wake up, spring satin pluot. But that is coming out and being replaced with this Liberty apple. Same thing with the Liberty apple. Looks like I've got some lateral spurs trying to come out. I don't know if that means apples. We'll find out. Right underneath, American Beautyberry that I just split up from my mother plant. Blackberries, blueberry, blackberry. Here is a moon glow pear. I haven't had any. This moon glow pear, I've had it in the ground since 2020. And when I show you my other 2020 trees, you're gonna realize this one, I don't know. It's got those little tiny pears that put out at the end of the year. The second set, of course, they weren't gonna mature. Don't know if I'm keeping that one or not. It's keep coming up. We have an early Alberta peach and an Alberta peach. Tons of pest issues, but I still got to get some peaches in May off of this tree. But I decided I don't want the peaches anymore. So we have it Pam persimmon, I believe, planted right in front of it, which will be taking its spot one day. And a Nanking cherry right over here. And Nothing too much. Oh yeah. Another grape plant. I'm not sure what grape this is. We'll find out. All right, back on the trail. See, we have a blackberry bush right here, and here is a pluot. My favorite pluot. I don't know what it is. I'll have to look. Maybe Flavor Supreme. I don't know, but this one was a true winner last year. This one gave me all the fruit with barely any bugs. There were almost no bugs on this one. Small, wonderful plums, pluots. But the sister tree next to it, this pluot tree is tough. It can hold its open flowers. You can see it's about to open. It can hold its open flowers down to like, I don't know, 18 degrees. No, 22 degrees it was. No damage at all. With open flowers at 22 degrees and full flower. And yeah, so, but the bugs destroyed it. So tough tree, but the bugs ate it. So I don't know if I'm keeping it or not. We're gonna give it a few years, but if the plum curculio is a steady beast here, it's gonna have to go. But they're tall. They got tons of fruit about to come. Back down here we have a blueberry, blackberry, the Alberta peach, which I didn't get anything from because the amount of pests were so awful. I mean, it was bad, but this thing is massive. It's gotten so big. Here's another blackberry. As you can tell, this blackberry bramble, I'm treating it like a tree. It's probably 9-10 feet tall. It's way up there. So I should get some good blackberries off of this. I hope, and then there's another bramble patch here and another one. I just hope these things aren't super invasive because these things are spreading like crazy, but I like them. So instead of getting rid of all of my plums, I decided to get a native plum. I don't know the exact variety, just said native plum on Burnt Ridge Nursery. I think it was a native plum. I bought 2 of these and put these in. One is here, one is in the chicken pen. So maybe the bugs don't go for those as much and I can still get some type of plum. And if I love it, I'll graft the pluots onto here and keep this. Here we have a silverberry. This thing is coming out. I don't want to wait till it gets tough enough to where it's a battle. So this is going to come out very soon. I just got to get in its place. I'm putting a pomegranate at the top of the hill. Great drainage. And as you can tell, the chicken coop, I've added an extension. I just feel awful and horrible for keeping them locked up in that little pen. Might not be little to some, but they've always had this room to walk, and that's not enough. I can't let them out in the garden like I want to because they destroy everything. So I had to go pick up some more wood and timber and put together this little frame. And now they can run up and down more, and eventually I'm gonna take it all the way to the fence, because I want them to have enough room. And I branched a pluot tree. This pluot tree got so much pest damage last year. So much. So I figured I'd use a strap, pull the branch over the chicken pen and let this fallen fruit go into the pen, because I know they won't let the grubs survive. So still got 4 hens, 5 birds total because of the rooster right there. Handsome little rooster. But he's not very tough. He can't really protect the girls. He tries. Anyway, this is that pluot. I think it's a Flavor King. And it's a cool one. But the bark, look at this. The bark is taking a hit. You see this, like it had completely died, separated. And look at like this whole inner trunk is just gone. This whole thing is just disgusting. But you know what? This tree is still holding on. So we're gonna keep it in the ground until we can't no more. All right, back this way. What we missed, what we stopped here we have a fuyu. It was supposed to be a Saijo persimmon, but it turns out to be some type of fuyu. And this is about 7 feet tall now. It produced a good bit last year. It will produce this year, I'm confident. Right next to it, down here, we have a Frugana seaberry. I don't know much about seaberry yet, but only 2 of the bushes that I planted the seaberry survived, which is the Frugana and the male seaberry. The other seaberries have died out. Let's see. Try not to move the camera too fast. Here we have another apple tree. So we had the 2 in the front, the Liberty, plus this one. This one I think might be the Crimson Crisp. No. This one was off of Gurney's Pixie Crunch, the Pixie Crunch. It's got spurs on it too. I don't know if that means I'm getting apples. We'll find out. Tons of spurs. Here we have a peach seed from, or peach from seed, next to a green ash, Forsythia. Indian blood peach. Look at all these spurs. Indian blood peach. That thing is big. But I think it's coming out because it's a peach. So I put in this replacement right here, a little baby pawpaw. Come down here. We have a Korean giant, Asian pear, and 2 apriums. Come down to the left side, we have another pawpaw. This bucket is protecting a Fuyu persimmon. That bucket is protecting another pawpaw. And here, tragedy, but we lost the Catawba grape. It's gone. It's flat. It's gone. No more grapes up top. Don't know if it's because I have a copper trellis. This has nothing to do with electroculture. It's just that I had leftover copper and it made a trellis. So to replace that, we've went ahead and stuck in the scuppered on muscadine. This is going to take over. I think it might be more tolerant of wet feet. And let's go back this way. This is the only peach tree that I loved. It is a white flesh freestone, and the reason I love it is because even though it had pest damage, you could just separate the fruit with your thumbs, pull it apart without a knife, and just toss away the bad fruit. I loved it. So this is a white peach tree. It's staying. It got pretty big and became a trellis for the volunteer loofah. I've got a strap, straighten it up, pulling it up. So here, yeah, we did lose our Catawba grape, which is sad, but I think the muscadine's gonna do better. And again, to get back over here, the Korean giant Asian pear. I've had this for 3 years, but I've transplanted it twice. These 2 apriums, they are highly susceptible to late freezes, so they lose everything. They're probably one of the biggest trees here as for height, and they're coming out soon. Like, man, they don't produce anything. So that's why the Korean giant is here to take over their place. I'm noticing that the pears, they had a lot of pest issues last year. I didn't think they would. People said they were resistant, but I guess they weren't. Here's the mother plant of the beautyberry. Blueberry to the left. Siberian pea shrub, the only one that survived. The Indian blood peach. Tons of, looks like little, I think I heard that it's, yeah, redwood with little, anyway, green ash volunteer. But down here we have a persimmon that's taking its spot. This is the Izu persimmon that will be taking this spot of the green ash once I cut this down. And let's get back on track. Okay, here we have a blackberry. I just put this one over here, trained it up like a tree. Right next to it, we got the Saturn peach, donut peach. It made a ton of donut peaches last year, but every one of them had a bug. I didn't get a single one. So this thing is coming out. And if you look down here, tons of American persimmon seedlings or saplings, or there's a root under here or something that just won't give up. So I'm keeping one of these American persimmons, grafting it, and it will be taking over this Saturn peach. Don't want the peach here no more. I mean, it would be nice. Here's 2 more American persimmon. You can see that these things are just, I can pull them out, but they snap and they're no good for transplant. I'll figure it out. Come down here. We have our, what is this? Gummy berries, sweet scarlet gummy. And then we have a grape. Don't know what grape this is. Can't remember growing up the chicken fence. Here is a second native plum. And we have a pawpaw in there and a third loquat back there. Coming down here, we have a Orient pear, which is coming out because of disease and pest and being replaced by this Crimson Crisp apple. We'll see. Maybe apples are just as bad, and I'll be removing this apple one day too. We'll see. Here we have a getting ready to bloom. We have a pluot. What is it? An emerald drop pluot. Good. Another orient pear that's coming out. So I put in some blackberries and some pawpaw seeds down here. We're waiting for them to come up. Here's my biggest tree, the Santa Rosa plum. My hands are almost 9 inches. Just to give you some perspective, my hands are almost 9 inches and I can't get them barely halfway around the tree. So it's probably like a 17, 18 inch trunk, something like that, 16, 18 inch trunk. But it's coming out because of the amount of fungus or rot on these plums. Like there was so much rot on them. But look at the prolific nature of the buds, man. It's insane. So once I decided that this tree was coming out, I popped in another persimmon here. Surprise, surprise, another persimmon. I don't know what persimmon that is because the tag is gone. Shoot. And also a pawpaw right here, taking over this. And I'm sorry, and that's because also up here, it's very close to the Toka bubblegum plum. Again, look at that trunk, the Toka plum. But the amount of disease and rot on these fruits, even when I thin it, it's insane. This tree is still asleep. It's not getting ready to fruit up yet. Here's another orient pear. This orient pear was one of the first trees I put in. It produces heavy, but the disease. So, yep, pawpaw tree taking over. Pawpaw tree, all taken over. And of course, the remake of the side garden.